Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Aeronex podcast, your show about the changes in the maritime, shipping and ocean space. My name is Craig Eason. I'm the owner and editor of the Fathom World website, which focuses on transformation and sustainable change, and I'm also an event developer and moderator. Now, in this past week, I've been in Turku in Finland. The city is home to a Navigate conference and exhibition, and it was here that I was moderating the 9th Intelligence Hunt competition. The Intelligence Hunt is a unique competition. It brings together shipping and maritime companies with groups of students, university students, who come together for 3 months to work on and solve challenges given them by those companies. In this 9th competition, 7 companies gave challenges to 7 teams. Each team has an experienced mentor to guide them. After working on their challenges for a couple of months, they came to Turku to present both the challenges and the solutions in front of an industry jury who then had to decide a winner. I was invited to come over and moderate the day, and I got to hear from the 7 groups of students who had challenges ranging from a port seeking new business ideas, a drone company looking to expand its business model, 2 projects looking on the future of fuel of shipping challenge, and another one focused on cybersecurity. But the winning team was that which was given a challenge from the Finnish companies Meyer Turku, a shipbuilder, and the technology company Wärtsilä. Their challenge was to look at the development of a clean cruise ship from a life cycle perspective. A somewhat difficult challenge, you could say, in that it's something that the whole cruise industry, shipbuilders and architects are themselves still trying to solve, but none have yet done so. So I sat down with 3 of the 6 students from the team who were at the event for the awards announcement, and I asked them about their work, about their takeaways from taking part in the Intelligence Hunt, and as students, how they think about the industry. So with me now is Jill-Nela Jalonen from Satakunta University of Applied Sciences in Finland, Jesse Jackson, who's studying at Strathclyde University in Scotland, and, hopefully I'll get this right, Andrei Maraju at Åbo Academy University, again, here in Finland. The 3 of you are part of a team, and there were how many of you originally?
6.
6 of you, okay, so we've only got 3 of you here, but never mind. You got given a task, and you were given 2 months to work on it, I think, roughly. Janella, when you got given this task, how much did you understand? What would you say your knowledge was? How did you understand the industry?
That was a really good question, because when I first got the task and the title, I was like, oh no, my forte is far from this. So I have to keep working. I researched a lot about the maritime industry, the shipping industry in Finland, the new fuels that's happening, the trends. And I'm like, oh well, now that I've worked hard for this, I now know how to talk to these people. I now know how to explain this certain topic properly. And I'm proud of myself for that. It's amazing.
It gave you an opportunity to look at the cruise industry, look at also other aspects of the whole industry, because one of the elements that you're looking at when you look at a life cycle picture, obviously, is this transformation to new fuels. So, Jesse, as well as looking at the cruise industry, you had to look at the whole life cycle picture. Did it give you a strong understanding of what life cycle is? Do you think you're a step further in how you understand the whole industry?
Yep. So yeah, the life cycle, as you said, it's like the everything. So from the building stage all the way to the end, where the ships are decommissioned in a boatyard and maybe scrapped. So yeah, it definitely gave me insight on like across the wide board, because specifically I was focusing on how to reduce like the structure. Because if you have a lighter cruise ship, you just have less weight. That means we can push the boat faster, you know. So it definitely gave me an insight there, and also just learning from the other teams, like the new fuels that are coming about, also just the different items that we can put onto the cruise ship that will help like make sure the cruise ship goes and have more efficient. It was really interesting.
When you started looking at the detail within the project, and you started going from the steel and looking towards the fuels and that whole life cycle, were you surprised? Andre, I'm going to ask you this question. Were you surprised just how much of a life cycle includes from the design stage all the way to the scrapping of the vessel and everything in between?
Yes, I was indeed very surprised out of the fact that when we talk in within the team, we decided, okay, we should think about 4 phases. As my colleague said, the initial phase when you're choosing the metal, and then you're building blocks, all the way like to the operation phase, and another like phase which are like in between like this cycle, like design, of course, thinking about what customer needs, and also all the way to the end of the life cycle. Yeah, and in this there are various operations that are happening. Various operations which can all the time be tweaked. If we are thinking this year, we're having some ideas. Next year, there can be new ideas, and so on. All of those are coming finally to the bigger purpose, to the regulations. Regulations that finally need to be followed. And those regulations, of course, they also change. So the industry needs to be guided by the regulations and to comply to them.
With a life cycle picture, Andre was talking there about regulations. But Ilnelo, when it comes to the cruise industry, it's one of the few shipping industries, I'd say, that is consumer focused. A lot of shipping itself is hidden behind this business to business, tankers and oil, gas carriers or bulk carriers. It's business to business. But the cruise industry, with their gleaming white, or these days not so white, they've all got many different colors on them. But my point is, it's focusing towards the consumer who buys into a cruise. When you looked at this, have you looked at what you would say could call the appetite for cleaner, greener cruising?
The appetite. Like I have researched that apparently 87% of people are willing to travel green. That's a research. And I'm like, well, people are interested on it already. So that's a really good step to move forward. Because you wouldn't have a hard time marketing this green vessel. People will go there. And I think it's just a matter of time until big cruises and big companies started following it towards the greener way.
Did you also look at the opportunities you've got there, not just of building a clean ship, starting from scratch, but when you're looking at life cycle, you've got a lot of ships that are currently in the water. Has your research taken into account what we do with the existing ships to make some of them cleaner, improve their life cycles of the ships that we've already got in the water?
Yeah, so that was definitely an aspect we also looked at, and there is different additives we can put on, such as like stuff on the propellers that enables like a better enables the propeller to have more efficiency, which in turn equals better fuel economy and all that. Also, like one of the major thing was we can refit them, like with new technologies. It might take a little bit of time, but if we're going to need to abide by the rules, we're going to have to do that. And also, we're also looked into what you do after the cycle of a cruise ship, because there's many things you can do, like different things, like turn it into a storage facility. So it's not just about the cruise itself, but when it's done, we can like turn it into something very useful. So as in like, there's actually a cruise ship here that was turned into a hotel. So that's one option, and there's many others, like sinking it for a dive site, which makes an artificial reef. And yeah.
How do you see this helping you, this whole competition then helping you moving forward? You've got 2 months left, a month left, I think, isn't it? Or 2 weeks, I can't remember, where you're going to be continuing to work on this project beyond this. You've won the prize, but it doesn't stop now. You've got other work that you still need to do. Does this give you a taste for actually working in this industry? Does it give you the confidence that this industry needs this level of change, and you are the kind of people that we're looking for?
I think that yes, this competition gives us an idea basically about what can come up later. Within our team, we're already having some made up plans about delivering a document actually about every detail that we already talked about. It's going to be like, of course, with some numbers, so the companies and every parties that are within this are gonna know about anything, and as well as also with a final presentation of our findings, because the most important for the companies is to see real results, numbers. How much reductions can we finally achieve by different components? What's the bigger picture? What's the total that you can reduce when thinking either about present ships or either thinking about some new vessels? And of course, what is extra besides all of those innovations? When thinking about innovations, the possibilities are endless. It's just the most important is for companies to give a bit of trust, to try it, to test it, to see maybe it's going to work out.
How much longer do you have at Åbo University? When do you graduate from there?
I am planning to graduate at Åbo Academy in the next spring. I'm in the final year of my doctoral studies. I'm currently writing my thesis on condition monitoring of marine engines of the cruise ships. And that's my plan for the next period.
And you, Jesse, how long have you got left at Strathclyde, and what are you hoping to take out of it? What are you doing? What are you focusing on?
So I actually was started as a yacht designer at Solent University, and now I'm continuing to study a master's in advanced naval architecture, and I'm due to graduate in September. So it was only a 1-year course, and then after that, there's endless possibilities. I'll just be floating around and see what happens.
And what about you? How long have you got left at, where was it? Satakunta University.
I still have 2.5 years to complete my studies. I have a background in hotel and restaurant management, and I jump into engineering, and I'm like, let's do this. Now I'm like, I'm suddenly in a maritime industry. My main focus at the moment is supply chain and logistics, but now I'm like, well, why not? I've already dived deep into this. Why not keep?
Now, obviously, one of the elements about the project is the team were given a challenge, this time by two companies, Meyer Turku and Wärtsilä Voyage. Ilkka Ritkela from Meyer Turku, hello, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
You set a challenge for this team of 6 students. Can you tell me a little bit about why you chose the challenge of life cycle assessment and looking at green cruising and the future of the industry? Why did you give the students a challenge which, let's face it, nobody really knows the answer to at the moment?
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Nobody really knows the answer how to make this happen, and that's why we gave it to the students, because we always need new and bright young minds to of course, work on this type of challenges. And I'm really happy about the results, and you really get to into the core of this challenge, and now we have a good list of motivators and all the surroundings in place, and I'm really wishing the rest of the project to see that what you're coming up to, and I'm really happy how you did this, because I haven't been there for you all the time, so you have really done great with a very, very experienced mentor, of course.
Coming here to Turku to take part in the Intelligence Hunt 9 final was the first time that the 3 of you and one other that had to leave to the airport already, and the other 2 team members really got a chance to meet, or the 4 of you got a chance to meet. Before that, you were all meeting on Zoom, weren't you? You did everything on Zoom. So how did you find that? How did you find working on Zoom with the mentor that you had and with the 2 case study representatives, the 2 business representatives from Wärtsilä and Meyer Turku? How did you find working on Zoom and trying to keep the enthusiasm?
So firstly, it was a bit challenging, especially to come up with times, because I'm currently in Scotland, and there's another guy that was in Scotland as well, and then the rest are in Finland, so we had a bit of time difference. But thanks to Ahmed, he perfectly arranged everything, so it was always a time set. We got in, and everybody was pretty much there on majority on time. So, but on Zoom it was quite different. But I guess now it's a new reality, because since COVID, we've been meeting a lot more on Zoom. Not just this project, but other group projects for my course and on my old course. So it's pretty much the norm now, is meeting on Zoom. There's benefits, of course, is we don't actually need to be in a physical room. Technically, we're in a virtual room, and there's drawbacks as in you can't really see people and interact, but you got to take the good with the bad, you know?
Well, I guess also, I've been in a ship designer where they have these virtual design rooms, and they have a naval architect here in Europe. I was in one in Denmark, and they had a naval architect in Denmark and another naval architect in Shanghai, and they actually met in the 3D design of a vessel that they were putting together and walked around the vessel. And that for me was just like, oh, this is a eureka moment. This is a fantastic example of where technology and that remoteness of being able to work together kind of came in hand. So it must be quite inspiring for you as newcomers into the industry coming out of university in 2 years or later this year or next year to actually think about what the potential is, what you've got in front of you, the tools that you've got. Jesse, you said you're doing naval architecture. I mean, the tools that you've got to do naval architecture now must be absolutely fantastic. It must be like taking part in a sort of video game almost.
Yeah, so there's many different softwares out there that we use. Particularly, we use Rhino for like 3D design. And also, that's really cool because you actually get to see a 3D picture. Rhino's not really into like a virtual, like where you can walk around it, but it's really good for like students and just designing. Also, the way you can analyze stuff using ANSYS and seeing how the water flows across the cruise ship in like the middle of the Atlantic, that is amazing. So some of the software programs out there are like unbelievable, and they're really accurate to like the milligram. So it's just getting to learn them, and whatever the company uses, you got to just work with that. And with technology getting better, we're going to have better technology, more programs, and certain softwares are going to expand. So, but there's some major players in there like Rhino, ANSYS to analyze, and various other ship programs that you can analyze the hull, the structure, how the cruise ship or ships would be in like in the environment. So it's pretty cool, actually.
And what do you see about the level of technology coming into this industry as a newcomer stepping into it and seeing how technical it is and the advances? Do you think the industry is picking up on all the digital tools that are available?
I'm actually quite fascinated. When I went around the conference area, this convention, I'm like, I did not know that's how you build the ship, from everything, the tubes, the piping system. It's so complicated, it's so complex. But thankfully, since I'm already on my path to engineering, we are studying this kind of system. So I will have a deeper understanding sooner. Like we will have this subject where we make 3D and 2D CAD, where you can make, where you can draw something. And I think that's a good step for me. I already have an idea of what I will do.
Janella Jalonen, Jesse Jackson, Andre
Morariu.
Thank you very much for letting me have time to have a chat with you. Congratulations on winning today. All the best for the next 2 weeks or month when you're putting the final touches to the project to hand over to Meyer Turku and Wärtsilä Voyage. And good luck with your careers. I'm sure they're going to be prosperous and I'm sure they're going to be great. But all the best and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was 3 of the 6 members of Team Newton, as they call themselves, talking to me in the Navigator exhibition hall, where they'd just found out that they had won the latest intelligence hunt competition. That's it for this episode of Aronnax. Please do remember to check out our other episodes, as well as to like and follow this podcast to get notifications of when other episodes go live. And also, don't forget to visit Fathom World. Check out our archives and subscribe to get our regular newsletter so you get updates into your inbox. Until the next time, goodbye.